Alrighty, so today's daily recap. Let's start with EU. So H4 swing is bearish, internal is bearish as well. I'm expecting this supply to fail, all right, and price to push higher potentially, unless price give us a clear chalk, a clear liquidation and continuation to downside. A shift in structure, then I'll be willing to get involved in shorts. But for now, I'm looking for longs, following just the fractal structure until proven otherwise. 15 minute is swing is bearish, internal is bullish. So coming into session, we had that beautiful push, all right, to the upside. Internal start reacting and pulled back, all right. Um, we reacted from a level of previous demand. Price pushed higher, all right. But then what happened is our internal low got broken, all right. So I knew that price just wanted to grab more liquidity and look for more demand. So price went to previous demand, all right, and then switched to bullish. So then we had the internal boss at that moment in time. I was pretty sure that that's it. We're done. We're gonna continue to the upside because internal is bullish, all right, and we mitigated one internal demand or one internal demand that caused price to continue higher. And once we came to that demand, we had again um, an II boss. So at that moment, I had a clear demand to look for longs from. I could have just get my like put my entry here and just targeted a 1, 2, 3, and I'll be fine. But I wanted more confirmation. So once price came to our internal demand, I was happy to take trade, but it gave us a shock. At that moment in time, once it gave us that shock, that signified to me that this pullback, this internal pullback or fractal structure pullback is done, and now we're ready to continue higher. So what happened is that I smashed a market execution after this shock directly. I didn't wait for price to give me any entry confirmation because that was enough for me. I didn't really wait for an LC1 or LC2A because for that I'll wait it in like an internal demand, but this is a fractal demand. So I was very happy to take a trade after we got a chock from fractal demand. Um yeah, did we get any perhaps entry confirmations? So that was our internal demand. Price then switched bullish, all right, and then pulled back. We didn't get anything in here, but then we continued higher, and then we got that LC1. But I wouldn't say it's a clean LC1 because, well, price push higher, all right, and then mitigated that demand. Perhaps we had some fractal lows here. Yeah, we had the fractal refinement there. That fractal refinement got indeed mitigated, all right, and then we got an LC1, and yeah, your entry would have been there or else there. Depends on, yeah, entry would have been there. But again, yeah, that's why I didn't wait for a confirmation entry because I just liked how price looked. It was enough for me. We had a daily, we had sorry, a 15-minute um, internal or fractal structure shift from a previous demand. All right, and internal is bullish. Target was the weak internal high. All right, and then once price just mitigated that demand, just continued higher, consolidated for a bit, higher, push through, etc., etc. But then it just pushed, and now what happened is that we just um, swept that high. So our target has been met. All right, so here I'm not really sure what could happen because potentially, like normally, I'll say that I'm still waiting for a close above internal high, all right? But anything can happen really from this point on time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pushed lower from here because we swept the high. But again, it doesn't match my analysis on the 8-4 unless we continue bearish from here and we get that shock. So if we get that shock, then I'll start looking for sales. But for now, we have a H4 demand there. That's our fractal low as well. If we break it, then I'll start looking for sells. If not, then I'm still in a long in long mindset, I just want to get involved into longs. Daily close strong as well, but again, if we get that break, then we could have the daily shock because we broke higher and this one is an inside bar. So this to me, with that close, we rejected the lows. We could continue higher, but again, I wouldn't remove the idea that price could just push lower from here, right? So for now, I'll just wait, right? Because our objective is already has been met. So we mitigated or we swept our internal high. So for now, I need a new range to work with because this is not. This has already been hit. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at for EU. So basically, just waiting. I'm just waiting to see any development, potentially a push to the upside, and then we'll see for a pullback or so. But for now, yeah, I'm just waiting. Price could easily just continue bearish from here. So that's EU. Let's check GU. Right, GU, same thing. What happened? Swing is bearish, internal is bearish as well. I was expecting price to continue bullish and break that internal high because it's weak. And yeah, I just want to follow fractal structure until we get a chalk potentially and we continue to downside. But for now, I just follow the internal, all right? M15, swing is bearish, internal is bullish, all right? We had that as our internal low, that as our internal high. We had the only two unmitigated demands were this one, internal demands were this one and that one. Of course, um, what I've noticed is that price doesn't really, when momentum is high, price doesn't really come to the extreme. So it just mitigated that flip demand because that flip demand was the one that broke us, that internal high. So this is strong. We had some inducement in front of it there, but yeah. So we had that internal, that IBOS there, that fractal shifting structure, and then price continued bearish, right? Fractal structure bearish. And once price reached that level, all right, then we got a clean shifting structure, so clean chalk. But again, if we're gonna take it as internal high and internal low, that would still be my internal because I'm counting it, or I'm only accepting that as a high, as internal high. If it body closed before the previous low, before I mean, if it body closed past the fractal low, so because we didn't body close, so I didn't count that as our internal high, and my internal high was still this one, and that was just a chalk. At any moment, we could just get that chalk pushed higher and then continued to downside following our internal structure. But yeah, so you could have been more aggressive, right? I mean, internal is bullish, price mitigated fractal, I mean, internal demand in discount, and then you got a chalk. So for me, that's like enough, plenty confirmation that price will just continue higher, right? So once they gave us that chalk, it left us with an unmitigated demand right there, all right? Did we get any entry? Not really. We didn't get any LC1. We didn't get any LC2A. Price just pushed higher. No LC2A, no nothing. Yeah, so at this point, I would just say, with all the confirmation that you have, just smash risk entry. That'll be a risk entry just after mitigation of the demand, just right there. Stop loss below. I would say below the level. You could put it below this demand, but you could have just been safer. I'll just put it below this demand, all right, for 10 pip stop loss, and you could target the internal highs, all right, or else you could target already the swing high because that's our final TP. And yeah, you could get a 1 to 4.8 for that trade, and in a few candles you'll get TP. Yeah, so what happened now is just price um, swept the highs at M15 swing highs. All right, we could see a push uh, continuation to downside. I don't remove it from my mind, but again, we're still bullish, so just follow the bullish structure. Internal is still bullish, so now we have that as we have a new internal range, which is this one. So that's our internal low, and Our internal high is that one there, right? We don't have a swing high yet or we didn't break the swing high, so we don't have a new swing low nor a swing high. So that's my internal high. All right, and do we have any unmitigated demand for tomorrow potentially? I would say that this whole range, I'll just count it as one demand because um, these three candles or these two candles got engulfed by only one candle. So I'll just count the whole range as one demand. I could have also put my refinement, but that's fine. I'll just add a refinement there of only a pivot, right? Um, so Fractal is bullish here. We don't have any talk, so price is just consolidating here. This is like an internal or um, AI or internal fractal structure, right? Fractal low is still there after we got that chalk. Fractal high is that one. So yeah, this is not a great area to be looking for sells from, or I mean for buys from. So for now, what I'm expecting is potentially price still continuing higher. I'm still expecting price to push and break this internal high. But again, I'm not removing the fact that at any moment we can just get that chalk and we could target internal low, right? So my chalk line would be that one. We just swept the high, to be fair. If we get a chalk, then that's a big confirmation that price will just continue to the upside, to the downside, right? So yeah, that's my analysis for now. That's my daily recap. Beautiful execution on both, beautiful read on the market this week. We had two beautiful trades, two wins on Monday and on yesterday and today. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm looking at for EU and GU. Hopefully we get that soon. We get a beautiful setups again, and yeah,